Hello everyone, I'm Wazzup, and today I wanted to cover the battle rebalancing patch notes for Toontown Rewritten version 3.0.0, or the field office updates. So, I've already read this, and I already kind of know what I'm going to say about each part, but I kind of wanted to just give my genuine, honest reaction to it. So, the first detail is regarding the cog health. So, level 1 to 11s follow this expression, or this equation actually. That would give the cog HP, and basically now for level 12s they have their own unique formula. So they used to have 200 health, now they're going to be reduced, but I don't know what their formula is going to be, so it's probably going to be different from this. And yeah, I genuinely don't really know how I feel about this. I feel like it makes level 12s, it definitely nerfs them, but now there's going to be higher level cogs, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. Carryover damage. Now, before this update, this was one of my favorite features about the whole game. It was for CEOs, for everything boss related, pretty much. Yeah, that's being scrapped. They're getting rid of carryover, which really disappoints me. This is my least favorite change they've made in this whole update, by far. This was one of the features that kind of took combat to the next level, I feel like, where you can plan ahead and it changes how you play. And because they're getting rid of this, the one fog rule is definitely a lot weaker, because you're not going to be sounding through the cogs. And yeah, I don't like this change at all. Just completely honest opinion, I don't like this. I think this was one of the features that made the game more fun for me. So that's definitely my least favorite change so far. But next up is, so basically they're talking about how a lot of people, go dropless or trapless, and they're trying to get this graph to be a little bit more even, which is fine, but I don't know. So for tune-up now, so the base healing range of the pixie dust from 60 to 70 has been reduced to 50 to 60, so you're getting less tune-up for the gag. So it is a direct nerf. And the juggling cubes have been decreased from 90 to 120 to 75 to 105. So your tune-up has been nerfed. So honestly, I'm not opposed to this change. Tune-up is broken. Tune-up is crazy, especially because it acts as a stun. So when you're done using sound and drop, now your tune-up isn't going to heal you as much. But I don't know. I'm okay with this change. Honestly, this change doesn't really bother me much. I don't even use tune-up that often, and I have tune-up on a lot of my tunes. Next up, okay, so Trap. Trap has gotten a massive boost. So previously when I would talk about Trap versus Drop, one of the biggest things about Trap was that it couldn't do carryover damage. You could use it to, harm the cog and then use other gags, but you can't put two down. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So you can't use carryover damage with Trap. Since carryover is being eliminated, that's one less thing against Trap. They've increased the carrying capacity to match it with the other ones. So this was one of the things that I was talking about, where you only have 2 TNTs, And when TNTs, I'll get to more of the other changes, but basically you're going to be able to use trap a lot more. Plus, they're increasing the trapdoor's damage from 60 to 70 to 75 to 85. So it's not going to take out level 8s, but it's getting a pretty substantial boost, a 15-point boost. So I actually like that. I feel like it should be 90, but hey, I'm okay with this. And the railroad. So it's being buffed from 195 to 200. So this would have been a bigger change, but they lowered level 12s anyways. So yeah, it might make a difference, but it's honestly not really, a big change, to be honest. So moving on to lures. So this is an interesting one. So you used to be able to use multiple lures and get basically double the turns. It's one of the best ways. If you have 3 tunes in a battle instead of 4, something you could have done is use a tune-up or a trap and then have 2 people luring, and then you have those cogs lured in for a long time, and then you just keep taking off the left cog until they're ready to be unlured. So this, is kind of a way to... It's kind of a nerf, You can't stack your lures, so that strategy's kind of just gone. So with the presentation, the base accuracy increased from 90 to 95%. So something that's interesting is you could stun for your presentation, and it's different but depending on the different cog levels. So your gags are going to be less accurate on a level 12 than they are on a level 11, but previously you would have to put maybe 1 stun or no stun, and your presentation would hit 90% of the time. This basically just makes it to where the presentation it's that lure gag when you really, really need your lure to hit now. And they lowered the rounds from 15 to 8, so almost in half. That's a huge change. I think it's okay. I think it's acceptable because the presentation is so powerful. I think it's honestly the best gag in the game. If, depending on the scenario, not always, but 15 turns of lure and it almost always hits, and then you could just fire the cogs that keep coming in. That's 15, free cogs that you're just getting rid of. So I'm okay with this. Sound hasn't been touched, I don't think. So yeah, sound directly hasn't been touched, but for org sound combinations, obviously it's going to be different against level 12s and level 13s and stuff. But yeah, nothing directly changed with sound. Let's see. So for drop, it seems like they're focusing on the safe here. Okay, so previously with drop, so when you get a new drop gag, that gag, except for the piano, I believe, they all do the max damage. And so if there's a new damage range that corresponds to the drop gag experience, it's gonna start doing... Yeah, okay, so I see what it's saying here. So previously it would do 60 damage. When you first get the safe, it does 60 damage. When you have a max safe, it still does 60 damage. Now they're giving it a range, and for the safe it's gonna increase. So I don't know if it's just for the safe. It looks like it is, so when you first get the safe, it'll do 60 damage, and when it's maxed, it'll do 70. So I kind of like that change. It was kind of nice having your drop do the max damage right when you get it, besides the piano, but the safe will now work the same way, so kind of interesting. Okay, here's another big change. So I would be more upset with this change if they weren't removing carryover in the first place. But basically, when you're using a level 7 gag, I'll use the wedding cake for an example here. When you use another throw gag with that level 7 and they both hit, it would do yellow damage, that group bonus. It's a 20% boost if you use 2 of the same type of attacks in the same turn. That boost for level 7s would affect all 4 cogs. Now that boost is only happening on 1 cog, or 2 or 3 depending on if people throw with you on different cogs. So previously in a situation like, let's say, what's a good example here? Let's say we're thinking about the old level 12s and someone's using a wedding cake and there's no lure, but your cake hits, your wedding cake hits, and 2 people use birthday cakes on 1 cog. This would make the yellow damage proportional. In fact, let me just calculate real quick. So we're doing a wedding cake plus 2 birthday cakes, so 320 times 0.2. That gives you 20%, so you'd have 64 yellow damage. Now this yellow damage will only go on the cogs that were hit by 2 or more gags. So yeah, if I'm reading this correctly, this nerfs the level 7 gags. Like if you use this nerfs not sound, because it hits all of them anyways. Yeah, it nerfs throw, squirt, and drop, I believe. Those level 7s. So that's interesting. Next up is the SOS cards. Now, if I'm reading this correctly, basically how they explained it was, they wanted to, where is it? Since their debut, however, accuracy-based SOS cards like Toon's Hit and Cox Miss removed some of its randomness and appeared to make battles a little too dull when used. I guess I kind of understand the reasoning for this. I liked that they were reliable, and now it seems like they've made a lot of changes to those types of cards. I never really used them a lot anyways, mostly for just like videos and stuff, but yeah, so it looks like there's Toon's accuracy up instead of just like Toon's Hit. So it brings it up to 95. That's pretty good. I mean, that's 5% chance to to miss. So I guess this is still really good for like drop and stuff, but yeah, I don't really have much to say about this, honestly. Yeah, I really don't have much to say about it, honestly. It seems like a change that is kind of in the middle. I don't really know if it's gonna be a massive change, but it's something. And next up is restocks. So yeah, so this is for the SOS cards. So it's saying it's restocking a maximum of 12 gags of the highest levels available. That's okay, because honestly, when you get your inventory filled with whole fruit pies and whole cream pie slices, yeah, that was pretty unnecessary. It's not like you're going to use that much anyways, so I think 12 is reasonable for sure. And for Professor Pete, it's 45 gags of the highest level, so it's going to focus most of that into your level 6 gags, it looks like. So that's okay with me. And okay, so yeah, here's another one. So the tune-up SOS cards, these are actually getting buffed, and I think that's a good thing, because previously if you were like using a flippy and there's 4 tunes, it didn't do a lot. I don't remember exactly how much it does. I could probably pull it up, but yeah, from 124 to 180 total. For Flippy, Daffy Don is getting a 50 laugh point boost, and Madam Chuckle is getting a 15. So that's not bad. 60 laugh points for a team is like 15 if you split it up. So that's not like it's still not like great, but I mean a 3-star. It's a 3-star card, so it kind of makes sense there. The Trap SOS. This is probably one of my more favorite features so far, or balance changes. So Clerk Penny, 4-star trap, was probably the worst 4-star, doing only 70 damage, and you have to lure. So that's 2 tunes. That's about 35 damage each. It's not great, and it unlures the cogs, and you know, it's just, it wasn't good at all. But 120, that's pretty solid. That's, you know, level 9s at least, paired with other, you know, a couple sounds that could do some work. In fact, I'm kind of curious to see if like organic trunks with that could take out the new level 12s or something. But regardless, that's a huge buff. And Clerk Will got some love too. He only got a 10% boost though, or 10 damage boost. There's also something about like when cogs are, yeah, like the vacant slots when you're using one of them. Yeah, it won't like unlure the cogs. I'm not exactly sure what this part means. I'm pretty sure it's talking about that though. Cog to be unlured and to not have a previously placed trap. Yeah, so that's not a big change. Let's see. Little old man, he got a massive nerf. He got nerfed so hard. So 5 turns instead of 15. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot different. But he is still accurate, so he's kind of like a last resort, or like a save me. But yeah, he caught a huge nerf there, for sure. Now this is the sound SOS cards. Mo does 5 damage less now. Honestly, I feel like him doing 80 damage was pretty awkward in the first place. It doesn't really work well with a lot of combos, so 75, it'll probably just, I don't know. I never really use Mo that often anyways. Even in solos, he's not great. Sid Sonata got a 5 damage boost. 55, so he does like an organic fog. That's cool. I mean, it probably won't be too noticeable. And Seville, she actually got a damage nerf. So it used to be 40, and now it's 35. So Seville, yikes. I don't know. They didn't touch drop SOS cards, which is kind of nice because I think they're good rewards and they feel like good rewards, and not changing them is kind of a good thing in my opinion. And now we come to the Unite cooldowns. So yeah, honestly, I kind of want to just read through this one a little bit. I didn't read through this part as much. So yeah, when you use a Unite, there's apparently like a cooldown, and it's different from when it's being used outside of the battle. It's only 3 minutes, which is fine, because unless you're getting like really unlucky, you probably don't need to use a Unite like that quickly. So inside combat, as soon as the toon uses either a tune-up or gag-up Unite, they will be on a Unite cooldown for 3 rounds. So this is in battle. This will take effect whenever the gag selection screen is next available. Outside of combat, as soon as the toon uses either a tune-up or gag-up Unite, they will for 3 minutes. So 3 rounds or 3 minutes. And unites used outside of battle will still impact nearby toons in battle. So I think this next part might kind of answer my question. So the timer-based cooldowns will convert to a round-based cooldown when joining a battle. Every minute will add an additional round to the generated status effect. If a timer-based cooldown was activated, finishing a battle with no round-based cooldown remaining will not convert backwards. It is possible you could still have an old timer-based cooldown remain active after finishing a battle. So, unite cooldowns. I don't know if this is for like everyone in the group. You know, I think it's an interesting. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. I think it's an interesting concept. Maybe unites won't be as abused, but I could also see this as somebody using like one of the low-level unites to stop other people from using unites when they really need it. And if field offices have like level 11 mover and shakers and level 13 like two faces, mover and shakers do 21 damage to all toons at level 9. At level 11 they're gonna do more, and I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna work, but I'm kind of excited to see what's going on. So now this gets me to the part of the video that I don't really want to have negative, but I do have a lot of critiques for this part. So the carrying capacity of unites is now 100 each. I don't remember how many different unites there are. I think there's like 13 or 14. I can't remember exactly, but that's limiting you to 100 each. So, you know, 100 of each unite. I have nowhere near this. I don't do cash as much as other people. It's not my favorite boss. In fact, it's probably my least favorite right now. But I mean, it has a good reward, but still. Yeah, so I know multiple people who have over 100 in each unite. I know some people who have a few hundred in each unite. They're gonna have to get rid of all those unites, or else they'll just be wiped. So by May 31st next year, 2022, those rewards will just be wiped away. So a lot of people's work that they put in, a lot of the people that like to collect and get as much as possible are now limited. So I mean, at least they're at the max. So I think the max used to be a lot. Like the total amount of unites you could get was like 1 million. So you were never hitting that, but at least now there's like a goal. That's the only upside I have about this. I don't think this was necessary. I don't think it was particularly a good move, especially if they want longevity. You know, once a lot of people hit 100 in their favorite unites or whatever. I'm not saying like this was like, it's hard to get to this point anyways unless you're like constantly playing. But yeah, I don't like this feature, to be honest. So next up is the unite values. So they're changing up how some of the unites work. The 10 unite went to 20, which is good because the 10 unite like rarely ever saves you. 20 is kind of a little bit better for that, for sure. The 20 went to 35, the 40 went to 50, and the 80 went to 65. So honestly, 65 is still pretty high. Still good reward, you know. And lastly, the max tune-ups were converted to 80. So you're not going to get 136 laugh from unites anymore. You're going to get up to 80. No more max unites. And the gag ups. So single track unites restock a maximum of 7 gags of the highest level available. So your unites are not going to give you a full inventory of that gag track. It's just going to give you 7 now. So these were greatly reduced. And the gag up all restocks up to 30. So yeah, you're not getting anywhere near as much as you were. Unites have been massively nerfed in this update. So if you've been collecting unites, I'm sorry. but all your rewards just got a little bit different, lower. You know, except for this, like I would say like this is definitely a good change. The 10 to 20 was definitely was necessary, and it goes up by 15. So yeah, 15. So it's more like linear, but yeah. Okay, next up, another potentially hot take here. So so they said to keep things consistent with the other boss rewards, we'll be shaving off the carrying capacity of pink slips to a nicer looking number. As of September 2021, we looked at the following statistics from our database. There were 227 toons that maxed out with 255 pink slips. So if this is actually accurate, I have 5 of the 227 toons here. So this is affecting me a lot more than it's affecting most people. And there were 539 toons that had at least 200. So the limit is being reduced by 55. And that's... I don't really like understand why they went with this choice here, honestly. I feel like 255 was like a good number, but yeah, I'm about to lose 200 fires. But you know, it's fine. It's fine. Like, when do you need 200 fires anyways? Like, I'm not like really upset about this. It's just, you know, I've been at max slips for years anyways, so it's really not a big deal. But not exactly a feature I'm a fan of, honestly. But so for pink slip earning here, I'm pretty sure they were just saying, yeah. So instead of being 1 to 5, each tier will give you an additional fire. So a 1 fire, well, a tier 1 CEO now gives you 2 slips. A tier 5 will give you 6. So I think that's interesting. Yeah, so that's pretty much all. It doesn't look like there's much else here, but that's just in terms of the balancing changes. So, you know, I'd say generally it wasn't... I don't think these changes are great, but I do like some of the changes. I think it makes the game a lot more balanced. But I think the ones that kind of dig into like the max caps for each different boss, like the Unite cap and the pink slip cap and the removal of carryover, were my least favorite features for sure. Not a fan of those, but the Unite cooldowns I think are decent. The SOS reworks are generally fine, and the trap buff was great, huge. So yeah, this is the 3.0.0 update. Lots of changes coming up. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my takedown of the update. These were just my thoughts, and yeah, I'm Wazzup, and I'm out.